how much of a boost are we talking here in terms of mortgages?
Well, it's taken us up to the best levels in quite a long time, which was relatively predictable based on the last time the rates were this low. So it's not nearly enough to get us back up to the refinancing surges that we've seen in the past in 2016 and then the huge numbers in 2011 through 2013. But it's definitely a welcome relief for a mortgage market that was pretty borderline depressed heading into the end of 2018.
Yeah, sure, Diana. I remember that interview with Taylor Holmes when she talked about just how awful it was at the end of last year. But that was when the 10-year was at 3.25. Now we're barely over 2%. Do you think what we've seen in just the last couple of weeks, this past week especially, is going to be a one-time boost, or will it keep going if we stay down here?
I think it's going to keep going. I mean, if you're talking about the surge in home buying demand, we did see a 10% jump in mortgage applications for the week and compared with a year ago. And we did see the same boost back in March when we saw mortgage rates low. Now, at the end of last year, when mortgage rates were much higher, that was when the bottom fell out of the housing market and we weren't seeing any sales. And as you said, the CEO of Taylor Morrison was saying they thought the market was dead forever. But now it's really starting to come back a little bit. The question is, can home prices pull back a little bit more to help affordability, and can we get more starter homes on the market?
Yeah, and Matt, those have been issues we've talked about a lot. We've also been talking a lot this week about the process of buying a home and how cumbersome it has become. A lot of hurdles you have to jump through. A lot of first-time buyers who may not qualify or may be too daunted to go through that process. Are we going to end up having a sort of shadow banking mortgage industry that is able to simplify this process, or are we stuck with this for years to come?
I probably plan on being stuck with it for years to come. You know, golden rule: he who has the gold makes the rules, or she who has the gold makes the rules. And the regulations are there for a reason, and banks really don't want to be on the wrong side of those. So they're always going to err on the side of caution, and that means making your underwriting process, the process that borrowers go through to get their loans, pretty onerous. And that's just to protect the banks and to stay compliant and protect the investors from risk.
Diana, you know what we're talking about. I mean, it is a nightmare for people, frankly. And I'm a little curious if they do follow through with this IPO of Fannie and Freddie that Secretary Mnuchin mentioned over the weekend. Do either of you expect that to help, hurt, or have any impact, Diana, on the market?
I think it's going to take a lot of time for us to see what happens there. It's going to take a long time to raise enough capital for an IPO. And so we're going to have a status quo for the foreseeable future for at least this year and probably into next year. When you talk about changes to the mortgage market, that's always daunting. But when you talk about how onerous it is for potential buyers, really, it isn't that bad right now. Yes, there are regulations in place, but a lot of that has been streamlined online.
Hey,
no, wait,
if you want somebody to give you a couple $100,000 for a home, you know, you're going to have to jump through their hoops.
Right, but by the same token, it's a lot simpler than it used to be. A lot of it's been streamlined. And, you know, we just did a story yesterday about how a lot of potential buyers don't know what kind of mortgage products are out there for them. They're woefully misinformed. They don't know you can put 3.5% down on a house. A lot of them think it has to be 10 or 20%, and it doesn't.
Matt, last word on that.
Last word on how onerous the process is, because I tend to agree with Diana. I mean, if you have a good loan originator and you listen to what it is they're telling you they need from you to ensure a smooth process throughout your loan process, it's not that bad.